Bates, and our Ways a Wonderful Life message for today is titled, There is a Miracle for You. There is a miracle for you. So we think about all the things that we understand and we know about our relationship with God, and we've all heard that expression that miracles are normal and natural. And one day I opened up a book, and the first thing that I read was, be realistic, expect a miracle. Be realistic, expect a miracle. And what is a miracle? The miracle is that unseen power, intelligence, and Spirit of God working for us for our good. All things work to our good if we believe it, if we accept it. We could say, I believe this, until we get it in our mind that this is the truth for us. And each and every one of us have that ability to recognize and identify with this great unseen spirit that we call God, this intelligence, this power that makes all things possible. Just as Jesus tells us in the Gospel of Luke, that which seems impossible for mankind is possible with God. And let's go to the book of Psalms 62:5, and we can read, my soul is another word for consciousness, my soul wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him. My soul wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him. So we know that when we get the consciousness, when we believe it, and we know it, and we accept it, just as Jesus said, it's done unto us as we believe, and we say, I believe it, I know it, I accept it, it is mine, then we know that we can expect it to come into the material and to the visible soon enough. So let's go to the book of Joshua 1:9. Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. Now, what does it mean, the Lord thy God? It means when we have God in our mind as our source of our supply, God is our power, God is our strength, God is our protection, and no matter where we are, no matter what we may be doing, God is with us. We're in that embrace, that loving embrace of the presence of God. So we understand that. So let's just know that we understand that everything happens in the invisible first. Everything happens on the unseen side of life, but our expectation, our belief in miracles are normal and natural. Our belief that there is a miracle for me brings it into our life experience. So let's go to these words from the great Dr. Frank Richelieu. This is from his book, The Art of Being Yourself, The Art of Being Yourself, and you can find his book on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. He writes, if this is a fresh day and you are fresh in it, it is not too late. It is not too late to be successful. It is not too late to be happy. It is not too late to clean the slate and write a new story. But you may cry out, I am broken in heart and spirit. You may have a heartache, you may hurt, but you are never broken in spirit, for spirit can never be broken. It can appear broken, but it is only covered over by our hurt and negativity. Know today that life itself knows no sorrow. Life is progressive. It will not be imprisoned in the past. It is offering you change at all times. Wherever you are and wherever your loved ones are, change is taking place all the time. Sometimes the changes are not necessarily what we want. But when we view them from a large enough perspective, we can see that they are for the better. They are for the better. That's from the great Dr. Frank Richelieu from his book, The Art of Being Yourself. And so we understand and we know, just as Jesus tells us, that it is the Father's good pleasure to give to us, but we must believe that it is. We must believe that the Father, which is Spirit, Jesus tells us, the Father is Spirit, and we must worship him in spirit and in truth. And so we know that since we are created in the very image, likeness of God, which means we are created in the nature of God, that within us is a part of God's power, God's intelligence, God's Spirit, and that as we align ourselves with the nature of God, as we put our mind in tune with the infinite, then we put our mind in tune with the infinite good, and we draw to us all the things necessary for us to realize the good life, the abundant life, the joyful life, the wonderful life. But it's up to us to feel that spirit within us. It's up to us to get into the feeling of having it, get into the feeling of knowing it, get into the feeling of believing it, and get into the feeling of accepting it as ours where we are. Jesus said, ask and you shall receive. And ask in the Aramaic language of Jesus means to claim it, claim your good. Whatever good it is that you desire to experience, claim it for yourself today, right now, right where you are, and then wait patiently upon the Lord. That is, for the law of your mind to accept it as the truth for you. And then God responds to us by corresponding to that which we believe to be true. Let's look at these words from the great Dr. Joseph Murphy. This is from his book, Great Bible Truths for Human Problems. Great Bible Truths for Human Problems. You can find his book, too, on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. He writes, all this is very simple when you understand it. There is but one power. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, Lord, we read in the book of Deuteronomy 6:4. All this is very simple when you understand it. Let's understand that there's only one power. There's but one power. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. And as we read in the book of Isaiah, I am the Lord. Besides me, there is no thing. Besides me, there is nothing. Because God is omnipresent, everywhere present, omnipotent, all power, omniscient, all-knowing, intelligent. So all this is very simple, Dr. Murphy tells us, when we understand it. Not 2 or 3 or 1,000, just one God, one power, one intelligence, one spirit. We can use any power of nature in 2 ways. We can use electricity to fry an egg or to electrocute someone. We can use water to quench the thirst of our child or to drown the child. The same wind that blows a ship onto the rocks will also take it to safety. The forces of nature are not evil. It depends upon how we use them. The theological devil, Dr. Murphy tells us, was invented by the church. The theological devil was invented by the church. So we know that that idea of a devil, that idea of an evil force, it's a man-made invention. It's the invention of the human mind distorted by the appearances that are visible in the material. That in God, in the Spirit, there is no such thing as a devil. There is no such thing as an evil force. I am the Lord. Besides me, there is none other. Besides me, there is no thing. Besides me, there is no Savior. Besides me, there is nothingness. We read in the book of Isaiah. You know, every day I pray and I meditate and I affirm that those who listen to these programs will find insight in how they can break the cycle of the appearances of lack in their lives and will find an opening to their answered prayer in one of these messages, that we can all find a healing. You know, Jesus said, thy faith has made thee whole. So we must build up our faith. We must say, I believe, I have faith. Even sometimes when we are filled with doubt and worry and fear, say it to yourself. Say it out loud. Stand up. Stand up with God and say, I do have the faith. My faith is making me whole. It's giving me the wholeness of health, the wholeness of prosperity, the wholeness of success, the wholeness of happiness and joy. And say it with conviction. There are those who have found their prosperity and success increase through tithing, others through silent communion with our Creator, and still others through prayer and affirmation. Yet there continues for many to be a struggle in this life to attain the ideal life, the health, the happiness, the joy, the experiences of those things that they want so much in their heart. No matter what we may do in the material or in the mental, we must still reconcile our mind with the mind of God, the nature of God, and the spiritual in order to realize the happiness and peace of knowing that all our needs are met and that we can resolve any and all issues that we're confronted with. It has been written that duality, that is the belief in God and something else, has been imposed upon us, and I know this is the truth. No one has consciously sought to believe in lack and limitation, in poverty and illness and financial struggle. We all want to pay our bills on time and have money to share and to spare. We all want to be healthy and happy. I know this is the truth for everyone, even those who may deny it. And so we realize that lack has not been a conscious choice, but one based on our inability to choose rightly because of the ideas and concepts that have been imposed upon us by the world. A belief in lack and poverty permeates the universal consciousness. People believe it all over the world. We see it. We see evidence of it everywhere, worldwide. We see people immigrate from one country to another attempting to escape it. We know of people, and we may even be one, who max out their credit cards trying to defy their belief in lack. But no matter where we go, there we are, and so poverty stays with us, and burdensome debts become a way of life. Health and illness and medication become a way of life, and this will continue as long as we attempt to resolve the problems that we have in the material and the mental, for in both we are, to differing degrees, resisting evil. And the mastermind Jesus was the first to tell us to resist not evil, and he told us this because what we resist persists, and this is due to the precise working of mental and spiritual laws. When we affirm that we have something, whether it's health or wealth or success or creative expression, whatever it may be, happiness and joy, when we affirm that we have something that we don't yet have possession of in the material, there is a contradiction between the material and the mental. However, if we choose to have something that is not yet manifest in the material, we put the law of mind in action without a contradiction in the material. And so we must go to the deeper level of our mind in order to know that we have it and in order to manifest it, just as Jesus said. It is done unto you as is the key word, as you believe. As you believe that your health is restored, as you believe that there's enough money to share and to spare, as you believe that God is with you, that God works all things to your good, it will become the truth in our lives. So at this deeper level of mind, we are not just using our conscious or subconscious mind, but we are in the silent communion with the Spirit of God itself. This is why Dr. Frank Richelieu tells us, you are never broken in spirit, for spirit can never be broken. You are never broken in spirit, for spirit can never be broken. But we will think we are until we develop the patience and the persistence to sit in the silent communion with God, with the Spirit, until our spirit is touched by the Spirit of life itself and renewed on the spiritual side of life. That's why we read in the book of Romans in the Holy Bible, 12:2, it's the New Testament of the Bible, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So we start realizing that our mind is always at work through our thoughts, through our words, through the things we think about, through the images that we take into our mind, that whatever it is that we're doing today, we're making judgments, either good or bad, about everything. We know we are. Say that looks good or that doesn't look good. That's appealing to me. That's not appealing to me. Why is this person doing that? Why is that person not doing that? You know, all these things are moving through our mind every day, every day. So we must understand the law of mind and stop those patterns of thinking that create something that we don't want, that create something that we don't want to experience the consequences of. Let's look at these words from the book of Job. This is a great lesson for all of us. Job 3:25. The thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. In other words, Job in that statement had that realization of knowing that he had already through his pattern of thinking, his pattern of thoughts, his pattern of judgment, his pattern of allowing fear and doubt and worry to control his mind, he knew that he was facing the consequences of allowing that to happen. But just imagine if Job had thought about the increase, if Job had thought about the wonderful and the lovely, if Job had thought about the prosperous and the healthy and the happiness that life offers. He could say, that which I have greatly loved has come upon me, and that which I have lovingly thought of is come unto me. What a difference that would have made. Maybe it wouldn't have given us the same dramatic effect in our mind, but it would have been a much more wonderful experience for Job. Let's go back to those words from the Dr. Frank Richelieu, The Art of Being Yourself. If this is a fresh day and you are fresh in it, it is not too late. It is not too late to be successful. It is not too late to be happy. It is not too late to be healthy, he could also say. It is not too late to clean the slate and write a new story. But you may cry out, I am broken in heart and in spirit. You may have a heartache, you may hurt, but you are never broken in spirit. For spirit can never be broken. It can appear broken, but it is only covered over by our hurt and our negativity. Know today that life itself knows no sorrow. Life is progressive because life is God. It will not be imprisoned in the past. It is offering you change at all times. Wherever you are and wherever your loved ones are, change is taking place all the time. Sometimes the changes are not necessarily what we want, but when we view them from a large enough perspective, we can see that they are for the better. We can see that they are for the better. So let's allow ourselves to believe this. Let's allow ourselves to get into the truth of it and know that whatever it is that's going on in our life, we can change it. We can change it. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Take that in your mind. Realize with the apostle from Acts 17:28 from the New Testament, in him we live and move and have our being. And we know that this him is spirit, it's life, it's truth. In the spirit we live, we move and have our being, and in us the spirit is seeking to express that greater thing still that Jesus tells us. Jesus said, these things I have done, but you can do greater things still in your life too. So seek that greater thing still in your mind and know that you can do it. Know that you can have it. Know that the Spirit of God that gave you the idea, gave you the image, gave you the thought, is seeking to express it through you, that God is desiring to increase your good in all ways and in all things. Dr. Frank Richelieu tells us you are never broken in spirit, for spirit can never be broken. But we will think we are until we develop the patience and persistence to sit in silent communion with our Maker, with the Spirit of God itself, and let that Spirit of life touch us, renew us, refresh us right where we are. The way to eliminate or diminish this imposed duality in our life experience is to begin to see through it at all levels of life, material, mental, and spiritual. Realize in the material that the world in which we live is filled with unlimited abundance, even when evidence of poverty is present, by purposely making note of the abundance that you see with your own eyes. And if you don't see a lot of abundance around you, go to the internet and look it up. Look up things that you want. Look up things that you want to have a greater understanding, a greater awareness of. You know, I always remember a woman came to me and said, she was praying for a new home. And I said, well, what does your home look like? She said, well, I'm not really quite sure. I said, well, you need to find out in your mind what that home looks like. You know, there's all kinds of homes. There's homes that are on the verge of being condemned. They're so badly maintained. They're so badly worn. And there's beautiful, beautiful mansions with acreage and gardens and pools and spas. Sells for millions of dollars. There's condominiums in New York City, floors on high-rise condominiums that sell for $57 million, $21,000 a month maintenance. Get it in your mind what you want. Get it in your mind what you can accept as the truth for you. Get it in your mind what it looks like, what it feels like to be in it, to be experiencing it. We must do that. If we really want it, we will. If we don't find ourselves sitting and contemplating what it is that we want and getting into the feeling of having it, then we probably don't really want it, or we don't believe that we can have it. It is the Father's good pleasure, Jesus said, the Father, through the love and law of God. It is the Father's good pleasure to give to us, but we must accept it. We must accept it. In the mental, we can gain this realization by visualizing and imaging abundance and wealth and happiness and health and affirming that there is more than enough for all to share and to spare. And in the spiritual, we can just relax our mind into the Spirit and let the Spirit itself move through our consciousness in its own perfect way. Move through our consciousness in its own perfect way. So let us always remember and never forget these words from the great Dr. Joseph Murphy. He says, you can use any power in nature two ways. We can use our mind to agree with the imposed belief in lack and limitation, poverty and illness, or we can use our mind at all levels of life, material, mental, spiritual, to enter into the absolute knowing that the Lord our God is one Lord. This Lord is our own individual law of mind in perfect alignment, in tune with the nature of God, in tune with the love and the law of God. It is our miracle within us. It is our miracle that's waiting for to be revealed to us by the Spirit of God itself. So there is a miracle for you. So open your eyes. Open your eyes in faith. Open your eyes to the Spirit. Open your eyes to the great unseen. And let that miracle become as normal and natural as your breathing. And so it is. Amen.